Hey guys, welcome back to Cough Country. This is Steve with the news. Come on, you know who it is, helping you out on a hump day. I'm coming to you from the late night green set, Cough Country's newest panel-style talk show. All sorts of cool people coming on. Definitely don't miss it, but we got news to cover, so let's check that out. We start off with cannabis's potential move from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 3 and what that means for people like you and me. That Minnesota might be a legal state, but that didn't stop the mayor of Winnebago from getting busted for illegal grow operations. That's a little embarrassing. And then finally we wind up in Miami, which is trying to break up with spring break, and they're putting cannabis in handcuffs to do it. But is it really cannabis's fault? I'm not sure. We got all that and more coming to you right now on Cough Country News.
No sticks, no seeds, just news.
It's Steve with your cannabis news.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's Steve with the news. Our comment section's been getting lit over Thai sticks lately. And check us out on Monday. We're going to do a deeper dive and get to the bottom of this, so you're not going to want to miss that. The DEA is in a bit of a pickle. They're trying to figure out if marijuana really should be a Schedule 1 substance or if they've been wrong about it this whole time. Cannabis is due for a change, and most people think it's going to move to a Schedule 3. But what does that actually mean for cannabis? What happens then? So back in 2022, when Biden pardoned some marijuana offenses in a political stunt, he pulled aside the head of the Health and Human Services and asked him to take a closer look at marijuana, right? See if it really should be a Schedule 1 substance here. So they did their review with the FDA, and they went to the DEA and went, look, I know you really like arresting people for marijuana. I get it. You've always done it. It's your thing. But maybe the Schedule 1 heroin LSD thing, it's a little much. They recommended that they reclassify it to a Schedule 3 substance next to ketamine and steroids. So the DEA is under some pressure for an answer. But they've been going out of their way to say that they have the final say. It's my house, it's my rules, and I'll conduct my own scientific review. So they can technically reschedule it, deschedule it, whatever they want. But the money is on them moving it to a Schedule 3. So if that happens, outside of some definitions changing, the big winners here are medical research and the 280E tax break. There are crazy restrictions on studying a Schedule 1 substance, so all of a sudden, medical research would start moving along a lot quicker. Pharmaceutical companies could get involved, and it could be dispensed through pharmacies. And as for the 280E, cannabis businesses pay ridiculously high taxes because it's Schedule 1. But almost worse is they don't get any federal tax breaks for their business. Every single other business in the country gets them, and it's a huge part of them being profitable. The cannabis industry is struggling to stay above water right now, and that would be a big step forward. It would also be a win in Biden's column in an election year, and the biggest cannabis reform in 50 years since Nixon put it on Schedule 1 in the first place. But for you and me, the consumer, not a whole lot's going to change. Some penalties will lighten up, but it's going to be just as illegal as it's ever been. And we'll keep doing what we've always been doing this whole time, ignoring it. That's why some people are saying anything less than descheduling is useless. People will continue to be arrested for something that's legal in half the country, and the state legal, federal illegal problems will all remain. There's also the potential that the government and big pharma can get their hands on the weed industry, and some people are worried opening cannabis up to the FDA and big money is going to push out smaller operators and take over the industry and have a much bigger regulatory hand in running it, effectively taking marijuana away from the states and giving it to the federal government. And trust me, I don't think anybody wants that government weed. Guys, don't go anywhere. We got a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back with more news for you.
This is a flower. Some people might try to tell you that it's a Schedule 1 controlled substance. They might scream drugs, drugs, drugs over and over and over again. They might put drugs in all caps. You might even start to believe that this is a drug, but it's not. This is medicine.
Thanks for sticking around, guys. Let's get back into the news. A Minnesota mayor and his son were arrested for illegally growing marijuana. The cops seized over 200 plants from the city official 9 months after Minnesota legalized it. I mean, you're the mayor, man. What, you couldn't get a permit? Winnebago Mayor Scott Robertson and John Robertson had hemp licenses last year, but they never renewed them. They got busted after someone tipped off the police that there were a bunch of cannabis plants at this commercial greenhouse in town. And it took them a while to get caught, though. A year ago, the cops did an inspection of the warehouse owned by Robertson and didn't find a thing. But witnesses say they saw him pull in a trailer and take the plants out before the cops got there. But once the police started driving by and smelling that dankness coming from the property, they started an investigation. And this time they showed up with a search warrant. And bada bing, bada boom, the mayor of Winnebago in weed-legal Minnesota gets arrested for growing marijuana. Ugh. Well, at least he'll have plenty of time to work on his re-election campaign, huh? Miami is breaking up a spring break, and it looks like marijuana is getting caught in the middle. The city's cracking down on cannabis just in time for spring break, when for 2 weeks, absolute chaos reigns in South Beach in the form of drunken brawls, gun violence, and wasted college student. But is this really cannabis's fault, or is it kind of falling on the grenade here? Florida went medical in 2016, and by 2019, Miami was decriminalizing cannabis, saying to the cops, yeah, state law says arrest them, but let's just give them a $100 fine, huh? But with the chaos that has surrounded spring break these last few years, the city is saying, look, we were trying to be nice, we were trying to just write you a ticket, but you got reckless. Now that's gone. No more Mr. Nice Guy. So they're withdrawing that optional civil penalty, so now the law is the law. And the cops have orders, and that includes arresting people for marijuana possession, an offense that will carry up to 1 year in prison and a $1,000 fine. We're shutting the door on spring break, recriminalizing marijuana and imposing our strictest consequences for reckless behavior. The anything goes party atmosphere is over, said a city councilman. But this isn't about marijuana, man. The whole city is breaking up with spring break. That's a campaign they're running. Politicians are behind it and everything. Even on Miami Beach, the website says, expect curfews, security searches, DUI checkpoints, Airbnbs are outlawed, parking fees are sky high, and there's going to be plenty of arrests to go around. They're straight up saying, don't come here on spring break. Right before COVID hit, the city spent $5 million on a campaign for Come to Miami tourism. And all of a sudden, everyone bombarded Miami during the first COVID spring break. Something switched in people's minds, man. Spring break was always wild, but that pent-up COVID energy made everybody go full tilt. Miami has been the center of chaos every year since. Violence is getting worse, the crowds are getting lawless, and the drunk people are too much to handle. They keep imposing an 8 p.m. curfew, but that does nothing. And last year, there were 2 deadly shootings, 488 arrests, and over 100 guns seized. Miami is saying the money's not worth it. So the city might be targeting marijuana, but this is not about marijuana. The medical passed in the state with 71% of the vote, and the Supreme Court is putting recreational on the ballot come November, with 62% supporting it right now. So decriminalizing it makes sense in the state, but spring break is a different animal. COVID unhinged some people, and those people keep coming to Miami to unleash themselves during spring break. Marijuana is just getting caught in the crosshairs, man. Guys, thanks so much for checking us out. Be sure to tune in next time on Cough Country News, where it's always no sticks, no seeds, just news. I will see you next time.